Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Start summer up by mixing things up with top paint and stain brands at Lowe's. Shop HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams, Valspar, Cabot to find the perfect pop of color or classic shade you've been looking for. And don't forget to prep your deck for the season with reliable wood stain and sealer. Now's the perfect time to complete your paint or stain project. Lowe's. All things summer, all at the right price.
Hey, Ola, it's Miles. Thank you guys for listening to the Men's Room Daily Podcast.
Have you heard our newest podcast? It's called The Greatest Story Never Told.
Download it today on radio.com. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes are uploaded every Tuesday at noon.
Unfortunately, what you're about to hear is real. The members of this radio program are simply not that bright, or what some people would call educated. They are merely stupid. They're not trying to offend anyone on purpose. And all have played doctors on TV. You have been warned and are cordially invited to join the party. This is the Men's Room.
Forget it, man, and get with the countdown. Get with the countdown. Shake this square world and blast off for Kicksville. The trippers, the grasshoppers, the hip ones, all gathered in secrecy and flying high as a kite.
This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. You know what they say, shake your radio more than 3 times, and you're playing with it. You're listening to the Men's Room.
And away we go. Welcome to Season 16, episode number 3512. Along with Steve the Thrill Hill, the Ted Smith, and Mike Hawk. Montgomery! And you are the Men's Room. On tap today it is a random question. Your guess is as good as mine. Categories: house hunting and delicious ice cream. We will play Profile This. Plus headlines, a Men's Room shot of the day, fun with listener emails, and everyone's favorite, TV Time with Ted.
Drink until drunk.
All right, here we go. Missing pet tortoise is found 1 year later after traveling an entire half of a mile. Meanwhile, a Chicago Walmart is evacuated after a huge fire in the toilet paper aisle. Florida man shotguns a beer after opening it with a live alligator's tooth. Monkey breaks into liquor store and refuses to drink the vermouth. And a doctor's 6-step routine for an awesome day is all about sleep. That is all coming on today's very special episode of The Men's Room.
And now, here's the question.
Hola, bitches. Good day to you and yours. All right, like most things that happen online, I was entirely unaware of the latest controversy. It's not about a blue or gold dress or whether or not you should clean your teeth with Mr. Clean Magic Eraser. Hint, don't. No, this controversy is all about the Bruce Springsteen song, Thunder Road. Now, sure, the song came out 46 years ago in 1975, but only in the last month has a debate broken out about the opening line of the song. Does he say Mary's dress sways or that Mary's dress waves? Well, Springsteen's manager, he cleared it all up. Mary's dress sways. Now you know. It doesn't matter, but look, people misunderstand song lyrics all the time. But what's crazy is that in the U.S., we have an easier time understanding British artists when they're singing than we do American artists when they sing. Again, as long as they're singing and not talking. And it's not the British accents are hard to understand. It just takes a little bit of time to adjust to. But apparently, parents of young children across the country, they're starting to have that experience thanks to the cartoon Peppa Pig. I'm very happy to say my kids are old enough that I've already suffered through this. But it seems that an increasing number of American children are now speaking with British accents after binge watching Peppa Pig during the pandemic. And with that in mind, we actually found the top 5 most difficult accents to understand in English. So you have places like New Zealand, Australia, etc., but there is one American variation that shows up. Any guesses what part of this country, as far as just people that speak English as a first language, they'll say they can go to Liverpool. It's more difficult to understand than, say, London.
Cajun.
Not Cajun.
Appalachian.
Nope. The Boston accent. That's right.
Oh.
People that speak English first don't know what the hell you're saying in Massachusetts. Anyway, these are just some of the stories that we've come across. Stories that left us with many questions. Questions we'd like to ask you in the form of our random question. And this is how it works. You call us, we will ask you a question at complete random. And after you share your answer, we will share with you the news story that inspired said question.
Before the big show, the random question, call 206-421-ROCK. Like the Men's Room on Facebook, follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Men's Room Live, and send those emails to the Men's Room at KISW.com.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Start summer up by mixing things up with top paint and stain brands at Lowe's. Shop HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams, Valspar, Cabot to find the perfect pop of color or a classic shade you've been looking for. And don't forget to prep your deck for the season with reliable wood stain and sealer. Now's the perfect time to complete your paint or stain project. Lowe's, all things summer, all at the right price.
I'm Glennon Doyle, author of Untamed and host of the podcast We Can Do Hard Things. Each week, we talk openly and honestly about the hard things in life together with you. So join us and some of our dearest friends and greatest heroes to talk about anxiety, boundaries, parenting, infidelity, our bodies, loving and losing, all of the things that make us human. Listen to and follow We Can Do Hard Things on Odyssey and everywhere you get your podcasts.
Back to the conversation. This is the Men's Room with Miles and Thrill. 99.9 KISW.
On the Charles, and away we go. Welcome to Season 16, episode number 3512. What a large and in charge program we have for you today. The exciting return of your guess is as good as mine. Today's categories. If you're into house hunting, maybe think about moving to a new city. Well, we've got the 10 most expensive places to buy a home here in the United States of America.
I'm going to guess we're in one of them.
We might be. It just keeps getting higher and higher and higher. Yeah, we've got the most expensive places to buy a home. And I believe the other day was National Ice Cream Day. I cannot keep up with this stuff. Either way, we have the 10 most popular ice cream flavors right here in the United States of America, which, believe it or not, is a completely different list. And I don't know why this is shocking to me, of the 10 most popular ice cream flavors in the world.
I can believe
they're not even close. Like, some of these I've never even heard of.
Sure.
As far as around the world. Like, number 3, yeah. I'm still not sure what the hell it is. I was going to look it up, but I forgot. But either way, I'm like, what is this? And I realized, oh, this is the 10 most popular ice cream places in the world.
Right.
Not here in the U.S. And today on the Men's Room Appy Hour, exclusively on Odyssey. If you do not have the Odyssey app, just search for it, download it for free in the App Store and Google Play, then favorite the Appy Hour in your apps. You'll get updates and alerts and everything else. Search for the Men's Room on the Odyssey app and you'll see the Men's Room Appy Hour. That's a little thing we started last week, exclusive to the app. This does not go out over the air. We do a little Appy Hour Monday through Friday at 6 o'clock. We'll get off the air here and go straight to the app. So if you want to listen to the history of the S word,
yeah,
which is quite fascinating, to be honest with you, we've got that coming up today with the Men's Room Appy Hour.
We covered the F word last week, the actual history of it. You know, what the scholars have figured it out. And through our research for the S word, one word a week, figure we can all learn this together. The origins of it are shockingly similar to the F word. It seems like there was a certain point in human history, at least with these two, same century, where it's like, we need to invent some cuss words.
And I think the S word was my first cuss word that I used.
It was the first cuss word that my mother acknowledged she heard from me. This was 1979. She took me and a friend to see the movie Alien. And she is sitting with her friend a row behind us. And as we perceive it as children, we're independent. I'm not, first movie, I'm not sitting next to my mom. So, good movie and all that. Little intense if you're 10 years old, but it was the scene where the thing breaks out of the guy's stomach. And I do not recall this, but apparently I jumped up and just screamed an S-bomb. Mm-hmm. And she said I didn't get mad because she goes, it was kind of the appropriate thing to say.
Yeah, it depends on the context of anything.
Sure, I told my kids, like, don't cuss around me, man. I know you guys cussed. You got little friends. You're stupid. It's your rite of passage. I don't care. Don't do it around adults. However, if you stub your toe or drop something and it breaks, you can drop an S-bomb. I get it.
Yeah, I mean, as far as the FCC goes, there have been instances on television where the S word has been dropped before.
Sure.
But with the situation at hand, you understand that this is a time where it wouldn't be weird to hear that word.
Well, live sports always get a pass, and then I want to say it was Slash at either the Grammys or some kind of music award. He was a little messed up back in the day, but they won an award for something, and he thanked a bunch of people because this is great S, blah, blah, blah. Right. Yeah, he didn't even know. It was like the next day they were mad at him. He's like, yeah, whatever.
So the history of the S word coming up if you join us for the Men's Room Happy Hour, coming up at 6, exclusively on Odyssey. All right, it is our random question. Question 206-421-ROCK.
Random.
Hello, Matt. Welcome to the Men's Room.
Hey, how's it going?
Hola. Matt, welcome to the program. Random question. Let's see, Matt. Okay. Matt, what would you say was the first booze that got you drunk? What was the first booze that you got a buzz on?
Oh, gosh. Oh, man. Pinnacle whipped vodka.
Whipped.
Oh, yeah.
Wait, Tentacle whipped?
Pinnacle.
Oh, Pinnacle whipped. What is whipped vodka?
I mean, I could say I've had a couple beers, but it wasn't as bad as when I went to college. And it was like Pinnacle whipped. It was just, every time I say it, it gives me agita.
Yeah.
It tasted like whipped cream.
Oh, yeah. Okay, that one, yeah.
I mean, like, some of the higher echelon stuff, like Absolute always had flavors, right?
Sure.
But it wasn't as popular. And that Pinnacle stuff came out, man, I don't know, 10 years ago or something. I mean, it was massive.
Mm-hmm. But
and
I
then
feel like
everybody else kind of jumped the train, or jumped on the train and started having all these different flavors.
But I feel like, Absolute, they basically stuck in the fruit world, right? It was like Absolute lemon and Absolute
pepper.
Stuff that kind of made sense, but like
the
vodka
for a
that
while.
tastes like whipped cream, that is an absolute invitation to feeling the way that you felt, Matt. Because I'm sure it tasted delicious and went down easy.
Do you guys remember what the first alcohol you had was that messed you up? I think there was a couple of memories that I have. First of all, the way my parents' liquor cabinet, they didn't always do mixed drinks, but they had stuff there for guests and all that stuff. So I would always look at the first 4 bottles that were in this cabinet. And they were the typical Jack Daniels.
Sure,
there was like Beefeater gin or whatever, that was popular.
People still buy Beefeater. That's all my father ever had.
It was just what it was. That was the popular.
You still see a ton of gin drinking.
Well, I feel like dads, no matter what, they're going to have gin. Even if they don't drink it, they have a buddy that drinks it. Right? So when I got older, I realized Bombay Sapphire and all that. But Beefeater was the only gin I ever saw.
We talk about how tequila has evolved with more blue agave tequila here in the United States. Always obviously present in Mexico, along with mezcal and everything else. But there was an evolution of tequila where tequila got a little bit more high end as far as just didn't kill you.
Because people in the U.S. buy tequila. In Mexico, tequila is swill. They drink mezcal is their go-to agave drink. I didn't know this until I went there. And they're like, dude, nobody in Mexico really drinks tequila. You know what tequila is in Mexico? Tequila in Mexico is what fortified wine is here. It's not that people don't drink it, but either you're homeless, in college, or broke.
Well, in the 70s, in the early 80s, vodka was the same way. Vodka basically tastes like rubbing alcohol. It wasn't. They just didn't have that high-end purification. It wasn't Grey Goose level or whatever you drink. It's a hell of a lot better than the stuff they had there.
Yes.
So there was a crappy bottle of vodka in there, whatever that was. But in the back, there was schnapps.
Oh, sure.
So,
yeah.
But that wasn't something that they used all the time because it kind of dust on the bottle. So I took a bottle of peach schnapps.
Because they're adults.
We got a little bit drunk on that. But the worst one was...
Peach schnapps isn't a bad call.
No. I mean, because
I think we've all, went through the same process.
Alcohol does not taste good when you first start drinking it. But my buddy Joel had this... his parents had this bottle, and he got in a fight with his dad. And the bottle had a pear in it. So they hung the bottle from the tree. All right? And then, the pear grows inside the bottle. And then they fill it up with alcohol. I, to the life of me, I don't know what the alcohol was. I cannot remember. All I know is it tasted a lot like pear.
Sure.
So we had the great idea to drink
Was it
this
just
bottle.
a moonshine?
I don't know what
Because they still do that to this day.
Whatever is typical for that, I'm not sure what it is. It was clear. I do know we drank it, and we were okay. And then one of our friends had the idea, now that we've finished this thing off, we should break the bottle and eat some of the pear.
Oh, how did that go?
That was the worst decision that you could ever make in your life, was for us to take just one bite, because it did not taste necessarily bad. but the amount of alcohol in there, we had no idea how sick that was going to be.
You don't know.
So we all got sick, violently ill. And then after that, when I moved out, probably Mad Dog or Boone's Farm.
But that's a little more. Mad Dog and Boone's Farm. At that age, the price is right, obviously, but it did have flavors. So you're like, I can't believe everyone doesn't drink Strawberry Jubilee. Like, it blows your mind.
Yeah.
What are my parents missing? Actually, the first alcohol I ever had, it can't say it quite messed me up, but jokingly asked the bartender for a shot of scotch, because that's what you saw in the movies, right? All the tough guys, they had a bad day at work or they've been shot or whatever, they'd ask for a scotch. So I was having a crappy day, talking to the bartender before he opens, asking for a shot of scotch. I think I'm 14. Yeah, I'm 14. And he pours it. And then I go to grab it, and as I put this thing in my hand and I'm tipping it toward my lips, it was like slow motion. He's going, no! And I just remember I slugged the whole thing down like they did in the movies, and I just can't explain what inside of me felt like, man. It felt like someone napalm.
A PD explosion.
Dude, I mean, but like your brain explodes, my chest exploded, my stomach exploded. I could not unscrew my face. I could not believe that people drank this stuff. Now, I can't believe that people don't.
My brother did the same thing to me. We were going, I was probably like 13.
All right.
I shouldn't say my brother, but his friends. So they're all bartenders. They all work together. And they had like a Saturday off, Kentucky Derby. We're going to go to Laurel Racetrack to watch it, right?
Cool.
So we're in the kitchen with his buddy Brian, and I'll never forget, they were drinking Sierra Nevada Pale Ales.
Okay.
And they had a bottle of Bushmills. So I'm like, you guys should give me some. My brother's like, no. But his buddy goes, he's right. Like, you want some whiskey? And I'm like, oh, yeah. So he pours me a shot of whiskey, which 13-year-old Bushmills is, it's awful. So it's like everything in my body's on fire. And then he goes, you should have some beer. He gives me a Sierra Nevada. Now, at this point, I think maybe I'd had a sip of a Miller Lite. Pale ale is not what you're expecting at 13.
No.
I mean, it was awful. And then, we went to the racetrack. I didn't ask him for drinks for another few years.
Yeah.
Were you okay, though?
Yeah, I mean, from what I remember,
together?
Yeah, it was just like, it literally was a shot and a sip. And then I was like, I gotta drink it.
Yeah, that's at that age, man. You do a hard shot. Other people, somebody says Thunderbird. Just says, ooh, my barf. As far as the alcohol with the pear in it, it was a brandy, which a lot of people say it's pear brandy. One guy says, Miles, I still make it to this day.
It's amazing that the pear will grow inside the jar like that.
Yeah. Someone else says Budweiser. Says, when I was in kindergarten, my stepmom's grown son took me and my brothers fishing. He wanted help drinking 2 cases that he got so he could drive home. We got our asses,
So he could drive home.
So he could drive home. We got our asses beat for what we were told, doing what we were told, circa 1983-ish.
Good times.
I mean, when I was a kid, I definitely had sips of beer, but it was almost more of just so we'd stop annoying them. Because we never liked it.
And you never
But it was always
drunk.
a big deal. It was like, can we have a sip up here? Like, here.
And
have a
once
sip.
they said yes, you left them alone, right? So
Yeah.
somebody else, Captain's Morgan Spice Rum. That's a shame. It's Captain Morgan. It's good. And Slow Gin, gentlemen, is something I don't wish any younger person to discover. Probably the second worst hangover after Southern Comfort. What is slow? I've heard
Even
of it.
as a drinker, it takes a long time to evolve into liking slow gin. It's almost like jazz.
But what is
You know,
the
you
slow
Have you
gin?
ever even had it?
Yeah, you can listen to it. I've sipped it once. It's the
What's the difference
driest.
between gin and
So
slow
gin is like a regular spirit. Slow
Right.
gin is like red and syrupy.
Yeah, but it's still dry.
And the only thing I've ever served is a slow gin fizz.
Right, I've heard of that.
But I mean, we had that bottle and it was hard to find on the bottom shelf.
No, yeah, it doesn't.
I mean, no offense, but you don't meet people under 70 who are like, yeah, I like slow gin.
Raise Ramos asked what was the first booze that got you drunk. A liquor-loving macaque broke into a bottle shop in a liquor store in India this week and brazenly drank a bottle of Kahlua.
Oh, Ted, you couldn't handle that.
I
The
could not
shop's
be
owner.
out.
Local said the monkey, which is known in the area, developed a taste for the sauce after finding a not quite empty bottle of wine. During the booze battle, a staffer actually tried to stop the monkey from drinking the Kahlua. He was bitten multiple times in the process.
Do not mess with a monkey if they're doing something, man.
They have been a terror in that area. They've been responsible for a lot of mayhem, robbing ATMs, and believe it or not, commandeering office buildings where they took over an entire office building and everyone had to leave. In a particularly harrowing incident, they said in February, a mob of wild monkeys broke into a home in a city and kidnapped 2 newborn twins.
Jesus Christ, man.
And they killed one of the 8-day old girls.
Oh, my God.
So when they say these things are a terror, they are an absolute terror.
And they weren't even drunk, right? These are just The crazy monkeys.
Those are just crazy monkeys. This one broke into the liquor store and decided to go for the Kahlua. And after that, he would not leave, and he sat there and he drank the Kahlua the entire time.
Look, there's a couple things. One, if a monkey decides it likes something and it's going to like booze, do not F with it when it's drinking the booze. Monkeys don't play that. Mm-hmm. The one animal, and this is messed up, and I think it is somewhere in India, and once a year they have a wine festival, but it's wine that they've created themselves, all right? And so they're all sitting in barrels, and these things age outside. Well, the problem, and they insist on having this wine festival every year anyway, in spite of the fact that once a year, when they have their wine festival, the migrating elephants also remember that this time of the year, these people want to have a wine festival. And this has been going on for decades, man. These elephants show up same time every year. And basically, they smash all the barrels, and they drink all the wine. And then the problem is, now you have drunk elephants. And like a lot of drunk people, they start rampaging, and they mess this town up every year.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Either move where you do, because like they say, elephants remember, they know. So either do it somewhere else or stop doing it, man.
What's worse, drunk elephants or walking into a liquor store and there's a monkey slugging Kahlua?
Drunk elephant. They'll kill you.
But here's the difference. The drunk elephant, it's not personal. You kind of just leave town, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if you said there's a drunk elephant on a rampage in your neighborhood, I would be more comfortable with that than saying, look, when you get home, it's just a teeny tiny macaw, but he's drinking all your hooch.
Random.
You know what I mean?
That just seems terrifying. You walk into a liquor store and that monkey is just sitting there slugging booze.
Drunk and angry.
Right, he's already pissed.
Hello, Peyton. Welcome to the men's room.
Hola, bitches.
Hola! Peyton, welcome to the program. Random questions. Let's see here. Okay. All right, Peyton, in your lifetime, who would you say is the tallest person that you know?
I went to high school with a guy who was about 7 feet tall. He went on to play basketball at Penn State University. I think he plays in some Middle Eastern league or something like that, or European league.
Okay, yeah, you can still make bank even if you're not in the NBA. Man.
I don't think that I've ever met anyone who is 7 feet tall.
No,
that you have to duck into all the entrances to our school.
I've seen
nothing is built for you if you're 7 feet tall unless you've got it customized.
I went to high school with a guy that was 7'3".
Damn, jeez, a whiz.
Yeah,
7'3".
It was a pain in the butt. Like
what was
every trip? Like he had to sit in exit rows.
Right.
Like that's when I learned he couldn't buy. Like he only had like 2 pairs of jeans because they're so specific.
Right.
Like shoes were a pain in the. I mean, he played hoops, so he could get like basketball gear. Mm-hmm. But even just like getting into like a minivan is like impossible.
Yeah. I saw a guy that used to play NBA basketball at a golf course in the parking lot, older gentleman. And I mean, I could not believe when he got out of the car because it was like, Jesus, how big is that guy? And I was like, oh, I know who that is.
Right.
And then I saw him, I was like, cry, man, you're a big dude.
I will say, I saw Shaq at an LSU football game. And if, we were down close to the field and you just see a group of people walking on the field and you're like, that guy's it's Shaq.
Mm-hmm. Right. It can't be anyone other than
that much bigger.
Yeah, and other than the NBA. Like, who was it that Sonic's game, was it the guy who played for
Grant Hill?
Stoudemire. Do you guys remember?
Yeah, I remember Stoudemire.
Just a huge dude. I mean, he was probably one of the biggest guys I've ever seen, but I did play football with a guy that was 6'10", 360 pounds.
Was he on your team?
In college, yeah.
That's good.
He was a massive dude. And to be honest with you, I can't believe he's still alive. Why? Because he was so big. I mean, he wasn't
unhealthy big? Or?
Yeah, I mean, just huge. Like, he didn't look right. You know what I mean? Like, people who are freakishly large or small sometimes don't have the longest lifespan as far as their health is concerned, whether it's Andre the Giant or Gary Coleman. You know, he kind of had that physique of just like, you don't look normal. Like, your head's big, your eyes are bulging out. Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're a big dude. Well, the reason we asked who is the tallest person you know.
Huge dude.
There's a girls' youth team in China. A girls' youth team in China. A 14-year-old girl is nearly 7'5".
God damn.
Her name is Zhang Zhu. She's 14 years old. Chang Zhu. She's absolutely killing it for her basketball league. 42 points, 25 rebounds, and 6 blocks. That's what she had in the China Nationals. She's been going viral on Chinese social media. You might have saw him. Rex Chapman tweeted.
That's where I saw it.
Yeah. That's about, by the way, 7 inches taller than LeBron James. And within 2 inches of Yao Ming. 14 years old. That is insane. More of the random question coming up. 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Start summer up by mixing things up with top paint and stain brands at Lowe's. Shop HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams, Valspar, Cabot to find the perfect pop of color or classic shade you've been looking for. And don't forget to prep your deck for the season with reliable wood stain and sealer. Now's the perfect time to complete your paint or stain project. Lowe's, all things summer, all at the right price.
Take the next step toward the career you want, be it business, cybersecurity, healthcare, or more. UMGC can help you get there. No application fee when you apply by August 31st. Visit umgc.edu, certified to operate by Chev.
99.9 KISW. The men's room is in progress.
Random question, 206-421-ROCK.
Random.
Guess who it is, Ted? James, welcome to the men's room.
Random.
Hola. James, welcome to the program. Random question. All right, let me see here, James. Okay. James, what is the grossest thing that you've ever spilled or had to clean up?
Oh, grossest thing I've ever had to spill or clean up. Probably when I was like 16, I was drinking a bunch of cheap vodka with, your buddies. Because, when you're 16, you get the cheapest stuff you can get. So we drank a bunch of it, and then the next morning I woke up with this most awful smell in my room, and apparently I puked all over my damn room.
But it was your puke, right?
Yes, it was mine.
That goes a long way. It goes a long way.
The only other person on the world you can even tolerate like that is your children.
That's it.
That's it.
So when I first woke up, I smelled it. That's what woke me up. And then, my cat was just in the room looking at me. And then the first person I blamed was the cat. I was like, oh, my God, the cat threw up all over the room. And I was like, wait a minute, this can't be the cat.
The cat doesn't drink vodka. Yeah. The cat's just there to give you disgust.
Oh.
You know what's amazing?
If the cat threw up that much, he'd be dead. Yeah.
The puking did not wake you up. The smell of the puke.
The smell woke me up. And then I was like, oh, my God, the cat puked all over the room because he's just looking at me like, are you okay? Yeah. I'm like, no.
Was it, did it just smell like old vodka, or was it old vodka mixed with everything else in your gut?
It was the cheap vodka we were drinking with all the juices, and then the barbecue that we had.
Yeah, barbecue. Ted and I had a discussion about puke last week, all right? And we both determined, and this is so weird, right? Puke is puke. You can recognize puke. But if it's just standard puke, while it's gross, you can kind of deal with it. Somehow, if you could make out with someone ate,
it's always on the sidewalk when you
even though that's
exactly how this started.
Yeah, it's like I walked by a bunch of puke. He's like, but what did you say? You could tell what they ate.
Yeah, you could see like a full meal in there.
And I don't know why
there was some protein. There was some lettuce.
So much, like same thing with poop, puke. Like looking at food does not disgust you, but looking at food after it's been consumed. Somehow it just makes it worse.
We had a holiday party many years ago. It was somebody who worked at the radio station, and they just threw a little party at their apartment every year. Mm-hmm. So whatever, a lot of people would show up, probably 20 or 30 in a small 1-2-bedroom apartment. So a lot of people are outside or whatever, and a sales manager is there, and she's nice and she's always pretty straight laced, but this particular evening she's having a great time. She's got a white, dress on or whatever the hell she was wearing. She's wearing some holiday thing with green and, whatever. Right. Anyway, unbeknownst to me, she had taken a muscle relaxer and was drinking wine. All right. So somebody says, hey, man, we need help in the bathroom, whatever. I'm like, all right, well.
No.
Yeah.
No. If someone says I need help in the bathroom, if it's not plumbing, I'm not walking in there.
So she had used the bathroom all over herself. She had ripped down the towel rack. She had ripped down the shower curtain. Her hands were covered in fecal matter. They were smeared across the walls, on the floor.
But this isn't her place, right?
No. And no one, and I still couldn't, no one was really saying too much about what happened. I learned I learned what the situation was after this party was over, like days later. Because you just figure, oh, God, she's really sick.
Sure.
It's one thing to be sick and to be throwing up and to have, it's another thing to completely lose your bowels. Thus the muscle relaxer thing that I didn't know that she was into, but whatever. So
it had to make you feel better, right? Like, oh, thank God.
No,
because it couldn't tighten up her butt.
Because I was one of the people who tried to clean her up.
Why? You said all these people are there. And look, it's not me. Mm-hmm. If I am very close to you,
because the person
then I'm one of the volunteers. But otherwise, like, hey, what I would say is, hey, Ted, your buddy that you brought, he pooped in my bathroom.
Because the person who hosted the party gave me one of these looks like, seriously, please help me.
Oh,
you know what I mean? I'm like, okay, all right. You know what I mean?
I'm kind of with Throw on this one, though.
Right, like
if I bring somebody and they puke, obviously I'm going to help.
I didn't. Ted pooped himself at your place. Begrudgingly, I would help. I would hold it over. But say it's not. It's Ted's buddy. Like, hey, man,
this woman had a boyfriend, and he
that's all you.
And he did not jump in on that. But he was the one who later disclosed the information on why. Because I was like, I need to know what happened, man. I was in there cleaning that crap up. When I say I was cleaning that crap up, like the shower curtain had to be thrown away.
Yes,
the towels actually.
The boyfriend didn't help at all.
No.
Jesus,
no. He was.
Yeah, I'm sorry, man. That's the rule, right?
Yeah.
Your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your husband, your wife—they're the ones that have soiled themselves in someone else's bathroom. Like, it's on you.
Basically, you had to put her in a bathtub so she would get cleaned up. I was in there for that. But all her clothes, they threw them in the washing machine. I mean, I think the girl who had the party gave her some shorts. You know, I mean, it's 30 freaking degrees. It's Christmas.
It's a holiday party.
It's cold. You know, like in a t-shirt, and of course her jacket was okay. But that was I could not believe the magnitude of just how bad that bathroom was. It was insane.
I think the worst I've had, and it's my now wife. She's my girlfriend then, but she had agreed to move to Seattle with me, and so she was doing, and again, holiday party, right? So it's her final holiday party at the Washington Times. She knows a lot of people there. She knows she's not going to see most of them again. So her and a couple of her close friends that work there, they threw down, and all night I'm watching them just suck down red wine bottle after red wine bottle. So I know this is not going to be awesome, but I don't know how bad it would be. But it's in D.C. I live in Baltimore, so it's like a 50-mile drive back, which isn't the worst in the world. But she passed out, which I was very, very thankful for. And as you're coming into Baltimore from D.C., there's a sign that says, welcome to Baltimore, and maybe 200 yards away, there's a gas station under it. And she starts waking up, and she says, I think I got to puke. I say, hey, don't worry about it. I'm going to pull over at the gas station up there, and as I'm saying that, just, bah! Right. And I mean, the worst part was,
once you say, I think I have to puke, you know you have to puke.
But it's red wine right now. And chicken, man. And the window was only cracked, so most of it just hit the window, rolled back in. She pukes the rest of the way home, whatever. I get her home. I put her in the shower. And as I'm putting her in, and I didn't get her undressed. Like, I took off her jacket, which is also covered in puke, because again, it's wintertime. Mm-hmm. But she's wearing like this sparkly dress and all those, and I'm dressed to the nines. Threw all of her in there. But as I'm putting her in there, she pukes again, but this time on my bald head. And I always remember I could physically feel a piece of chicken kind of behind my ear sliding down. But there's nothing you can do, right? So I kind of douse my head in the shower real quick. But then I know I need to go out and clean the car, because again, there's puke all over. And the worst part about that, like, I could deal with wiping off the dashboard and cleaning the windshield a bit, but the little pockets on the side of the door, they are full of red wine and chicken, dude. And I mean, just scooping it out. And that car, every time we turned on the heat, up until we got rid of it, we were reminded of that night that she threw down at the Washington Times Christmas party because it just smelled like vomit.
Reason we asked, what's the grossest thing you've ever spilled or had to clean up? A hazard incident has closed a portion of Carolina Road in Suffolk, Virginia. Members of the fire and rescue police are currently on the scene of the hazmat incident that happened this morning. Officials first got the call for the incident after a truck hauling liquid animal proteins.
What does that mean?
Partially lost its load over several hundred feet on the roadway. They're trying to control traffic around the area. That's exactly, I did not get a chance to look up whatever liquid animal proteins are. I mean, you know what my first thought on it was.
Yeah.
And I thought there's no way that it could be that much, but if it is, this is a semi-truck. So it was completely full of liquid animal proteins. Don't you think they would have put that in there? That's what that is? Liquid animal proteins?
I'm trying to figure out what it is.
That sounds so weird.
Because hold on.
Liquid animal proteins? I mean, that's not beef
real
broth.
vague.
You know what I mean? It's like, that's not what that is. What that is.
But it's liquid, right?
It's liquid animal proteins.
Animal proteins, supplements, and fats, and blah, been utilized, blah, blah, blah. Basically, it's just like fat and rendered animal liquid.
Ooh.
I can't imagine what that smelled like. I think we have a general
You got to
idea.
remember, man, it's hot on the East Coast.
And where did that happen?
This is in Suffolk, Virginia.
It
is so hot. You don't. That's the combination. Whatever the stuff is, I mean, you leave anything out for an hour, it's going to start to just get rank.
And I believe liquid animal proteins probably already ranked. Just a guess. Hello, Tina. Welcome to the men's room.
Hello.
Hola.
What's happening, Tina? Look at the random question. All right, Tina, how about this one? Tina, who said something about you that you didn't like? Who has made a comment? I said, who said something about you that you didn't really particularly like? You know what I mean? Like, they shouldn't have said that. That's not very nice.
I have 3 kids, and because of my age, I feel like people judge me, and I feel like they shouldn't judge me. Like, I take care of them. Why does it matter how many kids I have?
Well, how old are you?
I'm 22, and I'm going on my 4th kid.
Okay, and how old were you when you had your first child?
16.
Okay, all right. Well, that's not crazy. I mean, I know a lot of people have had kids early in life. I mean, obviously,
it changes with generations.
I mean, I'm still married to the same guy. They're all his kids, so it's like I don't know why people make a big deal out of it. But when you go to the store and
I like that.
Once again, you can't say
that's the right question.
Sucker, mother, and please keep those words in mind when calling. Now back to the program.
Oh, I like her. You can feel it. She's tired of these old people.
Let me go back to her.
Yeah. All right,
Tina, no F-bombs.
You can't sit down. But,
I'm sorry.
That's all right.
You know what the irony of those effing old people is?
But see,
my grandmother was 17 when she had her first kid. She was 19 when she had my mom. And nobody batted an eyelid. And those two people, my grandparents were married for like 8,000 years. Nobody cared.
Yeah.
No.
You know what I mean?
It's been happening. It's actually, there's like, the idea that like younger people have kids now, it's like, this has been going on for centuries.
It has been.
And if anything, it's probably,
my daughter does it.
So like now that this generation is different, I just feel like, why? Like, really, why? They don't deserve it. I'm not doing nothing.
Plus, on the plus side, like, when your kids are grown, you'll still be relatively young.
Yeah, see, man, there's 2 ways to play this, right?
I'll be able to party with them.
See, that's my thing. I'm like, I waited until I was, 42 to have my first kid. And part of me is probably better I did that because I'm self-destructive by nature. But most of that, that is out of my system. So I don't mind being old when they're done because I've had plenty of life and done many, 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 many things, most of which I will not share here. But the flip side is, I was saying, all right, if I had a kid at 16, say somehow I kept my S together, by the time they graduate, like, oh, yeah, I'm still young. But
how old's the youngest, Tina?
2.
2? Are you ready to be done, or do you enjoy having a large family?
I just want a boy. They're all girls.
Wait.
I really want a son.
How many more times are you willing to give this a go? Say your next kid, your 4th kid is another girl, and you're like, all right.
I'm actually currently pregnant now, and I think this is my last one. Because if there's another girl, I can't deal with it. Their attitude is just like mine, and I want to fight them. And she's only 6, and I really want to fight them.
So you have 4 children, and you're pregnant right now. So you're gonna have 5 children altogether?
No. The 4th one is this one.
It's currently in the
okay.
Tina, you always want to fight your kid. Look, there needs to be a TV show or like a parent translator, right? Because there are things your kids say or ask, and my response from the outside looking in is like, that's a cool parent. It's like, really, I'm not, because I know what went through my head. I sound like a homicidal maniac.
Which one's
Exactly.
Which one's the worst?
6-year-old.
6-year-old?
The 2-year-old, she's great. Like, the 2-year-old, she's an angel. Sometimes she's evil. She's evil behind people's backs.
That's not an angel.
The 2-year-old.
That is not how angels work.
Right.
Yeah. Good to see you at the pearly gates, ugly ass bitch. That's not what they do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So with the 6-year-old, oh no, the 6-year-old, I'd be like, you need to go clean your room. Why do I need to clean the room? You're the mom. You sleep in that room. Don't you sleep in that room? And if I clean it, she gets mad. Mom, why did you clean my room?
So because you're a filthy goddamn animal.
She's lucky to have her own room for the first in the first place.
Right. Oh my God.
What?
Me out.
Is she in first grade?
Yeah.
How did she do scholastically?
I think she's grown when she goes to school. When she goes to school, she thinks she's grown up.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
That's how kids are, man. Yeah. It's always, the question is why. And generally it's like, because you have mistaken my inflection for me asking you. Like, I didn't ask you to clean your bedroom. I am telling you to clean your bathroom. I just want to sound nice when I present it. So it's gotten kind of hip to that. And the other one is, my son will even tell me, like, Dad, I didn't want to ask you this because you're going to tell me to move the hell out or get a job or do both. I'm like, then don't bother to ask me the question that's on the tip of your lips. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't. I'm like, if you already know my response, then you're not asking a question, you're making conversation. That's all. Like, if I know what time my favorite show comes on, and it's 8 o'clock on Thursdays, I don't ask anybody what time it comes on. Because I know the answer. I'm making conversation. So you're right. That's probably what I'd say. I don't need to know what it was you're going to ask me.
It's the only statement or thing in the English language where you ask before you ask. So in other words, can I ask a question? No one ever says, can I drop a sentence on you? Can I be declarative for a minute?
Can I drop a sentence on you?
Exactly. Right.
Hey, player, let me drop a sentence on you.
Your mom has a nice ass. You know what I mean? Like, no one ever does that. And so I was like, can I ask you a question? You know,
more than one?
All right, yes, you can have a cigarette. That's normally what I answer. But you know what I mean? It's always like, she's like, hey, my man, can I have a cigarette? Sure.
You know what? You're right, but I'm definitely guilty of that.
Well, you always know it's just going to be a heavier
This is
thing.
what you say, Ted. You go, let me ask you a question. Now, you have made a statement.
Right.
So you're not asking if you can ask me. You're letting me know I'm going whether you want me to or not. Right. A question is coming in. I have an inquiry, and you're going to hear it no matter what.
Reason we asked who said something about you that you didn't like. Like when people call up, we don't go, let me ask, can I ask you a question? we ask the question.
Sometimes we need to tell them, just get to the point.
Yes. God damn.
How are you guys? How are you?
Mm-hmm. You know, we're fine.
Yeah, right. South Korean.
I can tell. We are absolutely okay.
Excepting old people. Which actually in the context was, I would let that fly normally. Because that's how the word's supposed to be used. South Korean President Moon Jae-in has decided to shun the Tokyo Olympics after a senior diplomat at Japan's embassy in Seoul described the president's faltering attempts to improve the relationship between the two countries as, quote, masturbating. But he didn't exactly say it that way.
Wait, what?
He was talking
This
about...
is an international incident.
Yeah, but this is the senior diplomat in Japan just basically said, yeah, he's a J-O, right?
Oh.
Okay. So, and the Tokyo visit to the Olympics, he's going there to watch his athletes, would have been Moon's first summit. He's going to have a summit with the prime minister there. And there are hopes that they would have like a fresh start for the two rival nations. But this whole thing's been taken off the table because the guy in Japan said the guy's a J-O, pretty much. That's all it took. More of the random question coming up, 206-421-ROCK.
Geico asks, how would you love a chance to save some money on insurance? Of course you would. And when it comes to great rates on insurance, Geico can help. Like with insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, boat, and RV. Even help with homeowners or renters coverage. Plus, add an easy-to-use mobile app, available 24-hour roadside assistance, and more, and Geico is an easy choice. Switch today and see all the ways you could save. It's easy. Simply go to geico.com or contact your local agent today.
Start summer up by mixing things up with top paint and stain brands at Lowe's. Shop HGTV Home by Sherwin-Williams, Valspar, Cabot to find the perfect pop of color or classic shade you've been looking for. And don't forget to prep your deck for the season with reliable wood stain and sealer. Now's the perfect time to complete your paint or stain project. Lowe's, all things summer, all at the right price.